This is the early afternoon of the 30th of July, 2024. Clip put up by Fox, written by Greg Norman. Title: Kamala Harris' treatment of staff under scrutiny as reports of poor office culture resurface. Government watchdog reports Vice President Harris' office has nearly 92% staff turnover rate. Does that sort of surprise anyone? You know why she's like that? Because she figures she's entitled and she knows she's pure garbage. Let's listen to this 1 minute and 53-second clip. Kevin McCarthy could not be a greater contrast between Trump and Harris. This is Mark Levin talking.
Have our friend Kevin McCarthy with us. Kevin McCarthy, you were not only the speaker, but you were resident of California. You're still a resident of California. You know Donald Trump very, very well. You know all about Kamala Harris. People are looking, people are wondering. You see a big difference between these two?
It could not be a greater contrast. You have to see what Kamala has left in her wake. Remember, she comes from California, but she just doesn't come from California. She comes from the most liberal point in the entire nation, San Francisco. And it's not just letting the borders wide open. San Francisco allows illegal citizens to vote in their school board. As Attorney General, it is her responsibility to write the language for propositions to go forward, to give to the voters what does this initiative actually do. She was the one that crafts the language that now allows people in California to steal up to a little less than $1,000 with no prosecution, that has destroyed this state. If you look at the city of the wake she left in San Francisco, stores are collapsing, rent is going down, buildings are being given back. It's riddled with crime everywhere because she was the prosecutor, but she was the Soros prosecutor. And you've watched time and again her lack of ability as a VP. What has she done? She's had the responsibility of the border, but she implied it exactly of what she has done in California. Contrast that with President Trump. He'll secure the border, economically strong, believes in law and order, believes in safe streets, and more importantly, he cares about your children. She does not allow any school choice. It doesn't matter how bad, it doesn't matter it comes from the most ethnic background of any school district, she will not let you get out of a bad school.
What do you think of that, huh? Former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is raising concern about Vice President Camel-Face Niece Kamala Harris' documented struggles with retaining staff, telling Fox News that nobody lasts very long while working for her, and that how she treats people around her is the real indication of what she'll do in the future. Yeah, she really thinks she's entitled because most of those mulattoes or half-blacks think they're entitled. McCarthy made the comment during an appearance of Life, Liberty, and Levin this week when he said nobody lasts very long, even as VP, when she didn't do anything. She could not keep staff. That is a person that the press will never talk about. How she treats people around her is a real indication of what she'll do in the future. He said it is known in California, it is known in Washington, it is heroic work environment if you work for her. McCarthy also said, when she got elected in the U.S. Senate, I was the majority leader. I reached out to meet with her, not only when she would meet with me. Not once would she meet with me. If I talked to the Democrats inside the California delegation, they didn't care for her because she would not meet. Look at this piece of shit. Do you notice like an eyebrow bone in that photograph? You know, as they, transgenders, as they age, the man comes out in them. Have a look at that. Tell me what you think. The former California House Republican remarks come after OpenTheBooks.com, which describes itself as a government watchdog organization, reported last week that Harris is experiencing a 91.5% turnover rate within her office of vice president. You know what's interesting is I think all those people that work for these presidents and vice presidents, they're making about $191,000 a year. So you got to be really uncomfortable or pissed off to leave that kind of money behind. The organization, citing payroll records, say that as March 31st, 2024, only 4 of the initial 47 staffers employed during Harris' first year as vice president in 2020 are still working for her without interruption. In the year leading up to the date, 24 of her staffers quit. Added, Harris reportedly has 50 staff working for her right now. Overall, Harris' staff turnover rate was 92%, surpasses President Biden's rate of 77 and former President Trump's of 72 during the first to fourth years of their terms, according to openbook.com. Since 2021, 127 of Biden's initial 560 White House staff are still with him, it also said. It's always been a problem. One former Harris aide was quoted telling The Hill in 2022, you have to have your people around you. Politics is about relationships and a relationship with the people around you, added another former staffer. I think there's a lot of improvement needed here. Years earlier, the father of former intern and then California Attorney General Harris wrote an op-ed for the Union newspaper in which he said his son, Gregory, had an eye-opening experience working for her that none of us expected. Senator Harris vocally throws around F-bombs and other profanity constantly in her berating of staff and others. The staff is in complete fear of her, and she uses her profanity throughout the day. Terry McGarry wrote, she's a piece of shit. As Attorney General, Senator Harris instructed her entire staff to stand every morning as she entered the office and say, "Good morning, General." He added, mentioning how Gregory was also given instructions to never address Harris nor look her in the eye, as that privilege was only allowed to senior staff members. The Harris campaign did not immediately respond Tuesday to a request for comment from Fox News Digital. They don't have to respond. The evidence is in the payroll. And 92% turnover. Absolute garbage. They're going to get rid of her anyway, so it doesn't matter. She's going to be replaced by Big Mike at the Democratic Convention. I actually bet one of the subscribers on Rumble a pizza. He thought that Hillary was going to be the nominee. And I said, I think you're wrong, and I'll bet you a pizza. We'll see if he takes me up on it. I'll attach the link. Look at it. Let me know what you think. Pass it along, and thanks for listening.